technically I'm counting this as our third season because we did do one show in season 1.
Yeah, you're
and
right.
Then, so technically I'm counting our third season of the Jag Connection here hosted live here at Jefferson's. Kind of a familiar theme last year, regular season coming off a win. It's always kind of nice. You travel up to Sparkman and get the 48-21 season opener. I think the first thing I want to ask you, though, Coach, is, a lot of coaches speak about coach talk, next man up, next man up. But this team really lives it. When you go look, new stable of running backs, a bunch of new wide receivers, offensive, defensive line. There were a lot of next men up, and it didn't feel like that in that game Friday, did it?
No, it didn't. I mean, we had some extra, some question marks going into the season, and we still do. Nothing's settled. I mean, we're not world beaters yet, but in terms of where the yards are going to come from, if you're looking at the rushing yards and receiving yards last year going into the year, there's just not a lot of it returning. So it was good to see that Brock Bradley wasn't his A game, and he still threw for 4 touchdowns and over 300 yards. And a handful of guys caught touchdown passes, and we had 200-yard rushers, and so I mean our kids did a lot of good stuff, and like I said, it's a lot of new kids, a lot of new faces, but the main thing stays the same. It's just the way our kids execute and on how well these coaches get them ready.
Yeah, parents at home, you watching, we do still have a few Wi-Fi challenges here at Jefferson's. We will reload afterwards, so you'll be able to watch it either way. I want to encourage you to stay with us live. Also want to thank Jake Marshall of Jake Marshall Productions in Hoover Toyota. Unfortunately, I had to go to Minneapolis unexpectedly on Friday, an up and back trip, and I was able to watch the entire game on the Hoover Toyota page from 35,000 feet on Delta Airlines.
Pretty awesome.
So there was a few times some other passengers were looking at me because I gave a couple of loud out cheers on the flight when some good things happened. But anyways, I think, Jake, you want to just touch real quick on what Jake means to the program going into his – I mean, he's been with you for a long time, and I think he's been with us since we started. You started at Spain Park.
So Jake when I got to JO, I knew I wanted to try to live stream all of our games. And back then, he had a YouTube station that he'd upload it to after the game. It couldn't be live. So Jake was there 9 years, and this is year 13 total with Jake. And, the first couple years at JO, we weren't, especially the first year, he'd bring me 4 DVDs, first quarter, second quarter, third, but to our kids it's not, so that's – at the end of the day, we try to make it as simple as we can for the kids and make it hard on defenses. But, when you got somebody back there like Brock Bradley, you give him the keys and, you let him go. You let him make mistakes. And, he might make a mistake, but he's going to, like I said, I told him earlier, the pick 6 he threw was my fault. It wasn't his fault. I should have got him out of that play. But he came right back, and we scored 3 touchdowns after that. So
right.
When you got kids like that with that mentality of, it didn't work, we're going to come right back, and we got 30-something seconds left of the half. Let's call timeout. Let's get a 2-minute drill, try to go down and score. When you have that mentality, it's a little bit easier to kind of get through the bad things when they come up.
Yeah, when we get to some plays here, that's one of the things I was going to tell you that one of the things I was most impressed with was Brock Bradley. Just looking at him evolve and watching some of his film over the last couple of years, seemed very comfortable in the pocket. I think some of that was a function of the offensive line, and we'll see some plays. Really gave him a nice pocket and some time, but you can tell he really feels command of that offense starting the first game of the season.
He does. I mean, he's played a lot of football, and he's played a lot of good football, So it's, we're blessed to have him. He's one of a kind, and he's a possibly once in a career type kid, just the way he carries himself, and so he's a professional in a 17, 18-year-old body.
Another thing I noticed, again, watching some of the film, watching it on TV, wish I could have been there live, but, you had a lot of new receivers. And the way you throw the ball, it relies on more than one receiver. You got to have other guys doing their job, whether it's a block, whether it's a decoy, whether it's just running a route to take somebody off. Were you surprised that you had so much success in the passing game with so many new?
Every day we've seen him in the summers. A guy like Mason McClure, you're going to talk to in a minute, that's been here. He's a staple of our team, and he's just one of the hard workers, and you see him every day developing. And a Ken Origo that's just very talented, and Connor Grebb went out there and caught some, Barrett Price, and, J.D. out of the backfield, and Nick and Hudson out of the backfield. So, I mean, it's stuff we've seen all, every day and all summer. So it surprised isn't the right word, but, proud is a good one. And I told the kids all week that, as adults, as men, we enjoy seeing the kids succeed. And that's the fun part of coaching is, when you see kids go out there and they might impress themselves, if they don't really know, and then all of a sudden they do something really good, and then it's like, I can't do this, So that's the fun part. But in terms of us being surprised that our kids are successful, that wouldn't be the right words.
Now, you talk about surprised, probably poor choice of words there, but
no, you're fine.
One of the things I talked about, I talked to Brock Bradley after the game, got some post-game comments from him. One of the things that kind of surprised me, I wouldn't say surprised me a little bit, but I was pleased to see, said the energy on the sidelines was as good as it ever's been, especially for a first game out of the season. Offense was pulling for defense, defenses were pulling for offense. Everybody's focused on their job, and that's something he really feels is really kind of elevated from where it's been years past, where you've started, not where you've got to where you've started. Did you feel the same thing?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's, everybody's going to be excited at the beginning. Everybody's going to be excited when it's going good. When you're up 21, it's easy to be excited and happy. But what I was proud of, I told the kids today, is nobody flinched. Even after the pick six, after I got through cussing myself, when the kids came off, we just brushed it off. And, Brock, it was funny. He just kind of looked at me like he knew it was a bad play, and I should have got out of it, but I didn't. But nobody panicked. And as bad as it looked sometimes, and then we came out and kind of, fluttered around a little bit, and they got the ball and scored 27-21. Nobody panicked, and the game didn't end 27-21. It ended 48-21. So, the energy is great, but it's easy to have energy when it's going good. But when it hits the fan like it did Friday night at times, the energy never wavers. So that's the good part about that.
That's one thing I noticed and was proud of the boys for. You mentioned it, got that 27-21 last year. And again, I know coaches don't like to compare teams year to one to year two, but there were times last year that happened, and we found ourselves having to stop a 2-point conversion to hold on at the end. This team seemed to take that as the line in the sand, and then they stepped up and then go rattle off with 21 more points. And then do you see that as being a little bit different? They kind of know they can do that now over last year where they
yeah. No, I mean, we talked about it. We're trying to get this group to start fast because, if you go back to last year and look at a lot of our games, we got behind and we didn't start fast. And I think it was just an energy, a big boost of energy the way we started on offense last week, Friday night, that we're going to try to replicate. I mean, it's just something about when you start fast on offense and you put pressure on the other team. There's just something about that. So we're preaching that, and we're hopefully we can keep that going.
It's always hard when a player has to replace a coach. And I say that meaning that Jackson Bryant had to replace Jackson Bell at center, who had been there for 3 straight years. Solid performance from him. I think he had one snap a little early. You can see there were little nerves, but after that he settled in nicely and really seemed to call a pretty good game for that offensive line.
Jackson, I mean, just seeing where that kid was as a freshman to seeing where he is now is special. He's a really smart kid. He's got an offer to Rhodes College, so he's going to be playing college football. And if you would have told me that when he was a freshman, I'm not going to say I wouldn't believed you, but that would have been a hard sell, just from what he was to what he is now. And he works his tail off. It means a lot to him. And he's a leader, and plus his mullet, man. His mullet is an A-plus mullet. He got his hair cut one time and almost got really mad at his mom. I said, I make that decision. Like, no, he cannot have a haircut. I make the call from now on, from here on out. But he's a good kid. And he's the glue of that line. I think he saw what Jackson Bell meant to that line last year and the last couple of years, and he's really taken to that.
So, and it's nice to see too. You got 2 towering tackles in Reed Oatridge and Hudson Reed again this year. With some experience, but that's got to open up some opportunities for you. They really seem to seal those edges nicely for you.
They're big kids. I mean, Hudson's 6'6", about 280, and 285, and Reed's about probably 6'7", about 285. So I mean, they're big kids, and Reed has really developed into a pretty good player, and this is third year to play, and first year to start. So we kind of threw him out there, but he's developed, and Coach Moore has done a great job with him, and those 2 guys on the edge is special.
I want to give a shout out to everybody here at Jefferson's. Thank everybody for coming out. It's nice to have you here, especially the coach. The coach is in the house once again with us. And he's going to be back on. I got to go ahead and break it to you now. He's coming on sometime. He was one of our highest rated broadcasts last year, having the 2 of you guys on going back and forth. So it's always good to see him in the house, as well as in his golf cart there.
He's already sent me notes on Hoover. I got that text this morning. I'm sitting at church, and the text came through. So he was watching film on his phone, and he sent me a text on some stuff he saw. So
we're going to get to some highlights now from Friday night. So, Coach, I'm going to turn the screen here so you can see a little bit here. But right here you see Brock Bradley gets a little fumble on the snap, but really keeps his composure in there and makes a nice pass.
Yeah, I mean, Ken Arrigo is he's a special talent. And Brock, the snap took him a good 4 feet to the right, but that's just a senior knowing the concept of the play. Just because it was a bad snap, his read didn't change, and a lot of young kids would panic and just start running. But, Brock knew what the play was supposed to look like and knew what the reasoning was, and he stuck with it and threw just an easy ball across the middle, and Kenna did the rest.
Kind of freeze framed it here because I thought the receiver did a very nice job of knowing where his space was, knowing where his man was. If he probably has a little bit of flexibility on that route, really cuts it up underneath to give Brock a nice passing lane, and then more importantly, give himself a lane to run after the catch.
That's it. Just stick to the scheme, and Brock's going to put it on you. When he does, you do what you do, and that's exactly what Kenna did.
And I'm sure you love to see that right there, those offensive linemen really dominating their guys downfield there.
No doubt.
So, next play coming up here. Sorry, I got a little bit far behind there. There we go. Touchdown, Jaguars. Here we go, another nice play here. And again, you're just not really doing anything super special here, just running the basics. And, again, a good read here. Gets his guy on the run out in the flats, and it just picks up about 18.
Yeah, Nick McKissick, he's a sophomore running back, and he is very, very talented. Nick he's got a chance to be a big-time running back in the next 2 years, or 3 years, excuse me. But, he's long, he can run, he's got great hands, a good athlete. And so he made a nice little play right there on mesh, and they didn't cover him, and Brock knew where to go with the ball, and Nick does what he does.
And I'm sure, too, as a quarterback, you're thrilled to see when that cornerback goes and follows the man in motion there because that space is wide open over there, and all you've got to do is hit him in stride, and you're picking up yards.
Yeah, once that happened, I'm pretty sure we knew where the ball was going to go.
He's got a lot of space out there, just one man to beat. And, again, they cut him off, and the sideline was the third man tackle there without it. Get another play here. We got a lot of passing early in the game, which, I don't know if people quite expected what to see out of the Jags.
Yeah, that's J.D. Thompson out of the backfield. J.D.'s he's one of the most electric, quick twitch, fast twitch, whatever you want to call it, kids that I've seen. And he's very, very fast. And, we put him into the boundary right there. And, if they didn't cover him, Brock knows just to go ahead and dump it down, and he does.
One of the things we talk about, too, here is all the other receivers. This play does not happen if that receiver out there does not run his route.
Right.
I'm sure you probably would have liked a little bit longer block at the end, but he did enough to get him into space. And but if he doesn't run his route, that play's not open.
Nick McKissick is a sophomore. J.D. out of the backfield is a sophomore, and the receiver you're talking about is Barrett Price, also a sophomore. So, you got kids out there that were thrown out there that have earned it, and, they're doing their jobs.
Going to run it in here. First running back touchdown of the 2025 season for the Jaguars here.
That's Nick McKissick. He's hopefully that's the first of many before he puts up that Spain Park helmet.
Again, too, he gets in here, and you see, and he did a nice job. I thought he did a nice job of being patient, not just running to a spot, picking what was given to him, and then taking and cutting it off the tackle on the outside there and falling in the end zone for the touchdown.
And that's what made Dakari Shanks so good, is just knowing how to set up blocks and having feet. And that's kind of what Nick did. We sent him a highlight clip of Dakari running last year to all the backs. Just they kind of, the more times they see it, they might, it might rub off on them.
So I kind of stopped it here. This is just, as a coach, as a quarterback coach, as an offensive coordinator, you got to love to see a pocket like that as a quarterback. And this is a play that was a little bit more long developing. You got the receiver running a long crossing route across, and it gave Brock Bradley time to survey the field, look a few people off. But this if you can keep this all season, I think you're going to be successful.
Oh, there's no doubt. That's the best part of Brock is when he's standing upright. So those linemen know they gotta keep him upright, because if he's upright, we've got receivers that can go make plays if they can get it to him.
Yeah, again, a nice job here. Just and again, I thought say his name, Rigo.
Ken Rigo.
Ken Rigo. I thought Rigo did a nice job of knowing where he was there on the sideline. Didn't run so fast that he ran out of space to catch it, gave Brock a nice window. And that was another thing that Brock really impressed me with game one out of the season. Did a good job of putting it only where two things were going to happen. As the guys were going to catch it, it was going to be incomplete, except for the one play that you called, of course.
Yeah. Thanks for the reminder.
So we just want to make sure we give credit where credit's due here, Coach.
Oh, yeah, I told him today during team meeting, I'll take all of the blame. I'll swallow it. It's all on me, and I'll take it.
So get another running touchdown here. Again, I thought nice job here, just kind of powering through. Again, you like to see the backs when you see the numbers of your offensive linemen in the hole. And again, he gets in there.
And see right there, Nick McKissick early in camp wasn't running with good pad level. And if you see right there, as he's about to make contact, he gets those pads down and uses his long frame. And it just shows the growth of Nick early in the year.
Again, we got another passing play coming up here. Again, another nice job by Brock. Again, I think he looks off the safety here and really gets himself into And he does a nice job of picking up the man there, and he was calling for it, but then he also throws it again. Doesn't go too deep with him. It leads him too deep. It could be an interception here because the safety was back, but did a nice job placing the ball where only his guy could catch it.
I mean, that's that ball leaves from the 50-yard line, on the left hash, and look where it lands.
Yeah, and I thought he did a nice job here because you got the two deep safeties here, both looking to the right side of the field, trailing with this guy here, and all he's got there, he's got a one-on-one matchup where he's beat there, and the safety does a nice job trying to get back. But again, good read by Brock there. You can see they're still both looking. They haven't even picked up the receiver that's going to catch the ball. So very well designed play.
Well, like I said, he's on the left hash on the 50 and throws it 3 yards deep in the end zone on the right hash, and that not many guys make that throw.
Another one here where you get a guy out in space, nobody out there, but the thing that was impressed me here is he just does a nice job. Could have taken it out of bounds there, but picks up an extra 20 just with a couple of moves.
Yeah, and I'm screaming at him to get out of bounds, and he makes that cut, and then I'm telling him to keep running.
So just a nice play there. Who was that on that one?
It's J.D. Thompson.
That's what I thought. So, and he's just a freshman or sophomore? Sophomore, okay.
That was right at 2 minutes. We had like 38 seconds. We called timeout, tried to get a little 2-minute drill right before halftime, and we kind of just wanted to put the hammer down, and Brock knows to get rid of it. J.D. knows to get out of bounds, but he chose to cut it back, and it's one of those, what are you doing, J.D.? Good job, J.D., kind of one of them situations.
But, again, you got to be salivating to see all that space out there.
It's yeah. I mean, Brock did a good job putting it on him, and then J.D. does what he does, just run the grass, make somebody miss and just run.
Again, they got guys over pursuing, makes a cut back, He gets tackled there. He's probably getting a talking to on the sideline.
There's no doubt.
He gets those extra yards. He's getting to that boy.
And this was a 4th down ball, and, again, this ball is from the left hash to the right back pylon over the outside shoulder. Mason makes an amazing catch. That was 4th down.
And, again, he puts it only where his guy can catch it. There was no interception there. It was either going to be – and, again, you look here, too. He did a nice job, does a little fake. Again, you got the safety, and now you got one-on-one coverage out there, which I think you'll take with Brock Bradley all day long.
No doubt. And, Mason, that's not an easy catch to make either, that falling down over the outside shoulder. I mean, Brock's job is to put it there, and then Mason's job is to finish the play, and that's a very hard catch to make right there.
It is, and he does a nice job making that catch. And, again, does not look like a guy who's a junior who hasn't had a ton of reps yet, I mean, he was kind of a dual player last year between JV, getting some reps, and some varsity. So
it's his time, and he stepped up.
Nice little toss sweep here, gets it outside, and again, we'll get a freeze frame here in a minute, but again, I think you got to be pleased with the play of your offensive line. When we look at it here again, how many guys you had downfield, and they've got a wall of people to run behind right there.
That's nice. Again, it's not always going to be like that, but when it is, it's fun to watch.
So, but again, I thought you did it felt to me watching the game that you guys were able to do what you wanted to do when you wanted to do it, run or pass. You didn't get yourself in situations that they necessarily knew what you were going to do. You had some 3rd and longs where you ran it. You had some shorts where you threw it, and you guys felt like you were comfortable going to whatever set of weapons you had, whether it be on the ground or in the air.
Well, that's the plan. That's the goal for them not to know what you're going to do. But the kids executed. They did. I mean, they had a really good week of practice, and they've had a really good camp, and it means a lot to them. And you got a lot of guys out there like the ones that you're talking about, the quote-unquote new guys out there making plays. They're anxious. They're excited about making those plays. So it's fun to see it come out, when it happens.
We'll leave this J.D. Thompson here, and that was just a who wants it more play.
Yep.
Nice little run, gets in there, does a nice job finding his hole, and just keeps
Hudson
those legs
Hibbert.
moving. Oh, that's Hudson Hibbert, okay.
Yep. Sure
Hudson Hibbert. I'm still learning a few of the names here, folks, so I'm getting a little farther removed.
Hudson's about 195 pounds, and he's a big, strong kid, and he works his tail off.
And every coach's favorite play there, victory formation.
No doubt.
To round it out. So,
no doubt.
But it's nice to get a win on the road right out of the gate to open the season. Keep that. We don't like to, I know you don't like to talk about streaks, but you are keep that regular season streak alive. But to give us a couple takeaways, what was probably the biggest question that you had answered in that game Friday night?
Well, like I said, the yards, the results, the production, where's it going to come from? If you look at our top 3 production guys from last year are gone, so where is it going to come from? Where are the yards? Where are the points? Where are the carries? Where are the touches? Where are the, we know who's going to throw it, but who's he going to hand it to? Who's he going to throw it to? And those guys have stepped up, and it's, there are a lot of them are young, and it's going to keep developing. And like I told them, they just got to make sure that they understand if we score, we score. It don't matter who it is, because hopefully we're going to keep building as many weapons in the house as we can. But I think that's one good takeaway offensively. And defensively, a lot of D linemen played. There's a lot of defensive linemen who are new. they're seniors or they're older kids, but they hadn't played a lot, you know. And Wyatt Beatty's a big old sophomore starter, you know, and he's earned it. So James Jones got a lot of reps at defensive end as a sophomore. So there's a lot of newness all over the field. But defensively, you know, when you got your Mike and Will, E.J. Curley and J.D. Bonamy back, you know, that's where you got to start building it. And you got Joe and Carter back in the secondary. And so you got guys that have played a lot of football over there. It's just, you know, how quickly they can get the young guys up to par and gel together is going to determine a lot.
You know, when you talk about Jones and you talk about Wyatt Beatty and guys like that, they're coming up, stepping up as sophomores. That's not a fluke. I mean, that's something that's been in the making for 3-4 years since you've been there. Because I remember we called those names a lot last year when we called some freshman games. And, you know, you started developing when they were 7th, 8th grade with the working with Coach Bowden down there and kind of gelling the two programs together. So not a surprise to see sophomores contributing so much because of the development that they've had in the years leading up to that.
Yep. I mean, it's, you know, I don't know, it's kind of a train of thought at this level. For every sophomore starter is a loss. You know, kind of, you know, you don't really want sophomore starters. But the sophomores we've got that are playing are really good players. So, you know, they've earned it. And like we tell them all the time, you're not going to play because of who your parents are, where you're from, how long you've been here, just because you're a senior, sophomore. Like if you earn the spot, that you're going to earn the spot. Like that it doesn't matter. It's how you produce. And those kids got a chance the other night, and they all produced. So we're really proud of them.
Speaking of the future, we got a couple games tomorrow night, right?
Yes.
Freshmen and JV, are they at home or on the road?
Home against Ute Trust. Freshmen at 5:30 and JV at 7.
So get out and see the future of the Jaguars, and that's something, too, I know that I was impressed with over the last couple seasons, seeing a lot of the varsity players coming up after practice to watch their future teammates, especially some of those JV guys, our varsity guys that are getting quality reps down there, so when they're called upon. So, all right, at this point, Coach, we want to bring up Mason McClure and J.D. Bonamy, and then we'll bring you back up to talk about Hoover.
You got it.
Can you guys hear?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me? All right. We got J.D. Bonamy, defensive. What number are you?
11.
11, that's right. And then Mason McClure, who is one of 2 McClures on the team, his older brother, senior. Xavier plays defensive back. Xander. But the rumor is he can't cover you.
He can't.
He can't.
He can't guard me.
Talking just a little bit about your brother, though, going up against each other, having that. I'm sure you guys played some front row football. Has that helped you? I mean, him playing defensive back, you playing offense, going against each other in the yard at home?
It's like a free training partner every day. Like, I can go to the field or backyard and just go train with him. It's really good work. I love it.
Does he? I'm sure he celebrates when you score a touchdown, but just not on him in practice, right?
Yeah.
JD, let's talk real quick. I want to bring up just real quick. You come from a long line of Spain Park Bonamies. You got a couple older sisters. One played collegiate softball. One played road in college, and so no secret that the Bonamy family is athletic. First off, where are they now? How are your older sisters doing? What are they up to?
They're doing good. My one sister's working with the Clemson football team right now, and the other one's here working with my dad. She's here right now, actually.
Is she? Oh, there she is. Okay, there we go. So is she? Do they watch the one working with Clemson? Does she watch you on Friday nights on TV?
All the time.
Does she?
Yes, sir. Always sends me videos.
So when you get off the field after the game, you got some text messages from her. You should have made that tackle.
Yes, sir.
Talk a little bit. You and E.J. Curley are kind of the leaders of this senior defense this year. You guys were big stalwarts last year on that defense that did so well. How's it been over the summer bringing some of these younger guys and new guys along?
I mean, it's been great. They're all being very they all listen to it, like me and EJ listen to what we have to say. So it's very easy to be leaders with this group, and me and EJ just got to go do what we do.
So talk to a little bit about. It's funny because sometimes you'll get doubled and that frees EJ up, and then you'll get and then vice versa. He'll get doubled and you seem to free up. But it seems like when we need a play, one of the two of you's involved. Is that kind of a mentality, or is that more the scheme?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, we each trust each other. I feel like to go make that play, and it's just nice knowing you have somebody who has your back.
So, and I know EJ, can you raise your level of intensity to? Because he's all go, no stop.
Yeah, he's something. I mean, I try, but he's a little bit more. I think much more methodical than EJ. EJ just go hit something. I'm a little more think about what I'm about to go hit.
There you go. You got to have both those, right, Coach? So, Mason, talk a little bit about the wide receivers, because I'm sure, did it motivate you that there's so many people who are questioning how you guys are going to be this year with the new faces and stuff? Did that kind of give you guys some motivation over the summer?
Yes, sir, it did. I really want to make sure at the receiving room we stepped up and we're celebrating each other more than we're celebrating, like, if I score a touchdown. Like I want all of us to be together as a family. So it really motivated me to grind and work hard in the off season so we could put a good product on the field.
I know in years past, that's one of the things the wide receiver group has taken a lot of pride in is they're as good of friends off the field as they are on the field. Is that the same with this group this year?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we love each other. We text each other, play the game, do all the little things together. Yeah.
So now after you tell me what happens because that was a hell of a catch in the corner. And does Brock come and tell you, man, great catch, or do you go back and tell him great throw, or is it a combination of both?
I told him great ball.
There you go. Keep them coming, right?
Yeah, keep them coming.
And were you the one? I saw you calling for one out there, weren't you, when you were going down the field? So you seemed like you really wanted the ball the other night. You had something to prove.
Well, I wouldn't say I have so much to prove. I'm just doing me because I don't really have to prove nothing to nobody. I just rather just play like how I play.
That's
so,
great.
Yeah.
That's a great attitude. I think that's one of the attitudes about what this team. JD, talk just a little bit about, Coach says nobody ever panics, okay? And there's times last year you guys almost, I wouldn't go as far as bend but don't break, but they got their things. And then you guys are probably one of the better defensive teams I've seen at making adjustments. How does that happen throughout the game? Because it seems like it happens mid-series and even mid-game. Is that something Coach Bush is doing or something you recognize or a combination?
I think it's a combination of both. I mean, first of all, we have great coaches surrounding us. They make the great adjustments to everything we're seeing, and they listen to what, defense is seeing. So, if I see something or Carter sees something or EJ, if we see something, they'll listen to what we're saying and make an adjustment off that. And it's just nice having coaches like that. And I think it's just sorry, what was the question? I forgot.
No, you're good. No, we're just about how making the defensive adjustments, how you guys make it throughout the game with the coaches. And then, but do you guys see some that you guys make during game just as players in the field?
Yeah, we see something and they go make the adjustment for us, or they see something and we make the adjustment for them. And it's up to us to make the plays, but they put us in the position to make those plays.
So you mentioned something that they listen to you. There's a rumor out there that sometimes Coach Bush will ask you guys, what do you want to run? Is that true?
Oh, of course. Yeah, he trusts us. So as long as we got that trust, we just keep doing our thing.
So when you guys go in practice, do you guys do a lot of?
Recently, yeah, we have been, but we kind of been slowing down on that recently. Just we don't want to get people hurt.
I got you. So you guys got Hoover coming up this week.
Yes, sir.
I know it meant a lot to you to have those fans out there. I'm sure you guys want to make a big push to have the fans at home Friday night. So what do you want to say to your fellow students?
We need y'all all there this Friday. The energy will make a difference.
Come out and show out.
Come out and show out because they're going to have a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But, you walk out. That's one thing, again, I saw it probably start to materialize after that Hewitt-Trustful game a couple years ago. You guys walk on the field, you're not overconfident, but you don't believe that there's anybody you can't beat.
No, not at all. I think we could beat anybody who's in front of us. As long as we just do our thing, I don't think anybody can beat us.
So defensively, every week they say teams make a big jump in improvement from week 1 to week 2. What's the biggest improvement you guys want to make this week between week 1 and week 2 defensively as a unit?
Defensively, I think tackling. We were a little bit slow on our tackling, but I think if we get our tackling cleaned up, we all know our assignments pretty well, and we'll do our assignments. We just got to tackle.
Same thing. Question to you, Mason. Offensively, what's the big jump you guys want to make this week from week 1 to week 2?
Perimeter blocking. Coach V always tells us good perimeter blocking can make a 4-yard run, a 20-yard run. So definitely perimeter blocking.
So, Coach, you agree with those two? Definitely, he says. So, Mason, talk about a little bit about you and your brother. So, do you guys hang off the field like you do on the field? Or is it you
That's
guys
my
got a
dog.
little?
I love him. Yeah.
Oh, do you? Okay, so he's not a defensive guy. You're not sitting at the offensive table. No, you guys are.
I'm always in his room playing his game, stealing his snacks. Yeah, it's a good bond.
Stealing his snacks. Does he know you're stealing his snacks, or did you just
knows.
rat yourself out?
He knows.
So, what's your so far? You're coming into your senior year. Hopefully, we'll have an opportunity to ask you this later in the year. But what's been so far playing football one of the best lessons you've learned on this team?
I think one of the best lessons I've learned on this team personally is just trusting each other. Just learning how to trust my teammates. That was a thing I guess I kind of struggled with. I have to go make every play. I don't feel like I have to make every play. I feel like if I do my assignment, my teammates will be there to make the play for me.
What about you, Mason? What's one of the best things you've learned is playing football for the Jaguars? It's
One of the things I've learned is, it's like a family. I've learned that celebrate the guy next to you, make sure he succeeds, and the rest will do the rest.
So talk to us a little bit about what practice week is, Hoover week. You guys got friends over there, so is there a little John going back and forth? Where you guys got some friends over there? Is it kind of silent, or
It's silent.
I know Coach V's big on no bulletin board material.
Yes, there's noise, but we don't hear the noise. It's just another week.
We keep the outside noise outside.
Yep.
Yeah, I want to. You guys bring that up, and there's a dirty word out there that begins with the word T, which we're not going to say it. But you had some of that this summer. You had some guys move. You had some things. doesn't phase you guys. How do you guys do such a good job of blocking out the noise? Because you guys said it, block out the noise. That seems to be kind of one of the things that defines Jaguar teams is you block it out. It's almost like if we want to play with the guys that want to be here.
I'll say it is us like come on, what we got is what we got. We're gonna make the best out of it. That's what I believe that helps us with that.
Yeah, as Coach V always says, rinse, repeat. We just go back out there and go to work. Keep our head down. We don't got to worry about it.
So the last question I got for you guys, we'll bring Coach V back up, but talk a little bit about, unless there's anything you want to add, but we always talk about the foundation, the turnover. One of the things that I've seen the last couple of years is you got a lot of alumni that still follow you guys that played 2 years ago. Did you get some texts from some guys on Friday night?
Yeah.
And tell me what, just, you don't have to say who if you don't want to, but what they say to you?
Oh, yeah, they were just like, great game. They sent videos of them watching the game. It was great to see that after the game, to know that there's still those guys that were playing with us last year or years before that are still keeping up with us and cheering for us.
What about you, Mason?
It was good. A couple of people texted me saying, good job, bro. Really good job. Stay focused, stay locked in. It was really good. Love to see it.
Yeah, now do you follow any of the guys that have graduated, like the Kelby Robersons and the guys that are playing some college, and Cam McFarland and those guys? So do you guys follow some of them? And
Yes,
and that's good. So I tell you what, I think one of the things one of the reasons I continue to try to do this and be involved in the program is I think you said the key word, and that's what Coach V's built as a family. And I don't know that I think you guys may not realize it now, but I think someday you realize how special of an opportunity this has been for you to play, and it's something not only that you're going to take and the success on the field, but it's going to. So tell me one thing real quick that you've gotten from football that's going to help you be successful in whatever you do in life.
I think teamwork. I think that's the biggest thing I can take away from football is learning how to work with others and trusting each other.
What about you, Mason?
Self-confidence.
Oh, that's a good
You
one.
got to believe in yourself. Believe in anybody else.
Coach V, this should be making you feel good back there, man. These guys aren't asking for the ball more. They're wanting to block better. They're wanting to tackle better. He's not asking to blitz more, So, I mean, it's total team atmosphere here. So anything you guys want to add before we bring Coach V back up about the Hoover game or about last week?
Nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. We appreciate you guys joining us, and go Jags.
Go Jags.
I'm not going to say the player because he was a great kid, but I tell you one of the things that one of those kids just brought up I think that resonates with me the most, Coach, is self-confidence and what you've done for these boys with their confidence level. I think the first year we did this, I interviewed a kid, and a great kid. He's playing college football right now, and he's come around, but I thought he was going to pass out when I did my first interview with him. He was so nervous and he was so red. But, I mean, when I bring these guys up and talk to them now, they're confident to talk about what they're doing. They're confident in themselves. They don't get nervous. They're really comfortable in their skin, not only as football players and men. And I think you got to go home every night and sleep pretty well knowing that that's what you're building.
Well, I mean, we have good kids here because they come from good families. I mean, we can act like it's us, but it's not. I mean, these kids are coming to us, good kids and good people and good families, and we work them. And when I just, going into this is my 25th year coaching, and you see kids, when they have success and they did it, it just builds confidence, and that's fun seeing kids grow from freshmen to seniors, and 4 years of just building confidence as a young man, and those are two really good examples.
Yeah, J.D. Bonamy is a kid that we've seen develop. In fact, I watched him. I was coaching just about a year or two ahead of him when his dad was coaching youth football. So I've seen him come up, and he's played a number of different positions. He's run the ball, he's tackled the ball, but he's settled into a nice player. Talk a little bit about him and E.J. Curley and their leadership and what it means to the defense.
Well, I mean, they've played a lot of football, and they're very smart guys. And I think early on when they were younger, they were trying to do everything perfect, and they were trying to learn it. But now Coach Bush has so much confidence in those two guys that, especially J.D., just getting everybody lined up and knowing the calls. And he's serious. Like when Coach Bush asks them what they see, a lot of the answers that the kids give are the right answers, And I think it was one of the 7-on-7s. I asked him what coverage, and he says he's letting the kids call it. And they called a lot of their own coverages, because they know they know how to play within the system. And J.D. Bonamy is a big part of that, and he's just a really smart kid.
Coach I want to highlight is Coach Darius Taylor. I mean, I think he's probably due for an extension with having a complete changeover almost every year on special teams the last couple of years, as position players and the kickers and stuff. But it's almost like he's got to start over from the drawing board every year. But special teams missed the extra point, but other than that, fairly solid the other night.
Oh, gosh, it was very, very solid. We got to fix the extra point. Our protection broke down one time, but our snaps, Lutenbacher is a really good snapper. He's very consistent. he gets it back there really, really quick. And on the short snaps and the long snaps, the timing, you know, we put them on a clock every day, and every day it's under what it's supposed to be, and a lot of it's because of Lutenbacher. But no, Coach Taylor does a great job of developing those guys, and Coach Hall, Matt Hall, has the kickers. And, you know, we lost our kicker from last year, and then Colt Stabler moved away, so Coach Hall went to the soccer team and pulled Garrett Hoffman. And he's going to be a junior. He's a junior right now, really strong leg. And Coach Hall went and got Garrett last spring and added him to the team because we needed a kicker. And then Reese Jones. Reese is committed to play baseball at UAB, and he wanted to lift with us and work out with us, and he wanted to try to kick. So he's our extra point, you know, short field goal guy. And Zach Van Pelt's our sophomore punter. So, you know, Coach Taylor just does a really good job of putting the pieces together. And, you know, we're always going to be appreciative of Matt Hall of getting some guys off the soccer team to come help us kick.
So Hoover Week got a lot of things. It's a big week for the community. Lots of food drives, stuff like that. One of the things one person I wanted to highlight, though, is Superintendent Dr. Maddox. You know, and he's a guy that's come in the last couple of years. And if you're at Hoover, you don't think he's for Spain Park, and if you're Spain Park, you don't think he's for Hoover. You know, he does a very nice job of playing the middle and supporting all the students from both programs. But and in fact, I've seen him go to both games. But we'll talk about his support for the program.
I mean, Dr. Maddox is probably one of the, if not the best superintendent that I've ever worked under. And he's very supportive. He's very fair. He's very, you know, he's not partial. Him and Rex Blair and Alan Paquette, two of our Spain Park board members, you know, they got over $1 million worth of funding for our school. They redid our locker rooms, and they're state of the art. They're just gorgeous locker rooms, and they're doing the girls' locker rooms now, and they're going. Every sport team at that school is going to have their own locker rooms, brand new, refurbished, and everything. So, you know, he's not only supportive. You know, there's proof. You know, like you can put your fingers on things of how he's supporting our schools and our programs, and you know, you see it. You know, a lot of people just say it, but like you can see it. So Dr. Maddox is a great guy, really good leader, very personable. You know, but I've heard when he gets mad that he gets up there. So I'm doing my best to stay on his good side for sure.
Talk a little bit about the locker room real quick. I think the reaction from the boys when they first saw it, because I know you guys kind of kept them back, kept it a surprise, and kind of unveiled it. Or have they even fully seen it yet?
Oh, yeah. We moved in when camp started. We moved in, and, you know, the brand new lockers, the state-of-the-art lockers, you know, they redid the showers. You know, we had two rooms. We had a varsity locker room, then a wall, then a freshman. We knocked it out. So it's just one long kind of rectangle room with lockers in the middle and around the edges, and they redid the showers, so we got plenty of showers. We're going to dress it up next week or two. We're going to try to, you know, dress up the entrance a little bit, decorate a little bit, but it's really nice. The kids, they all have their own lockers, and you know, there's just plenty of room to spread out, and you know, it's a blessing. There's no doubt, and our kids appreciate it because they didn't have it, and they hadn't had it, and that's been the same locker room for 20-something years. So it was due. You know, it was due. We've had a lot of parents since I've been here, 3 to 4 years, really try to put a lot of focus into that locker room. And there's just so much you can do. You know, the old lipstick on a pig, you know, it's still a pig. So we did some things over the years to make it better. But, you know, the whole renovation has been just a blessing, and it's really, really nice for our kids.
Yeah, the locker room smelled 20 years old.
It smelled, that's being nice. A wet 20 years old.
It did. So talk just a little bit about, and again, I don't want to go into everything because I know there's some exciting things coming Friday night, but you've brought in a producer to actually produce the games on Friday night and get the commercials running a little bit smoother and elevate the overall, not only video performance for those watching at home, but from those watching in the information and the way everything ties in with the Jumbotron.
Yeah, so, you know, we have the Jumbotron for the in-game, I guess, experience, but we wanted to take it to the next level. I mean, my goal is to have the best high school atmosphere in the state. I want our kids to feel it. I want our community to feel it. I want alumni to feel it. I want the kids coming up to feel it. I want the opponent to feel it. And we've been very intentional the last 6 months in planning of it. And we brought in a girl named Shayla. She works with Pastor Mike at Rock City. She's one of his big producers. And she is going to produce the game. So you're going to see her with the headsets. You're going to see our band director, Mr. Drew Ellis, with a headset, Morgan Lambert, the cheer, the Dazzlers, Ms. Matherson. There's going to be people in the booth with a headset, and she's going to be running the show from down there. We've been blessed to have the dancing LED lights So there's going to be light shows.
Yeah, I didn't know if you were going to bring that up tonight.
Yeah, they've already seen it.
They have, okay.
Yeah. So, so it's just, you don't want to play a commercial if the band's playing and vice versa. My biggest goal, I don't want any dead air. Like if there's 25 seconds of time before we go back out on the field, do something with the music and the jumbo, like do something. So Shayla's taking ownership of it. We're going to make sure all of our sponsors get what they're supposed to get. If they get a commercial, if they get a shout out, whatever they get, just to make sure that everybody's taken care of. But the biggest thing is I want whoever's in that stadium to walk away from there tired, just from what they just got through seeing. I want it to be a fun environment. So, we'll see how Friday night goes. We got a dry rehearsal or first run Tuesday night to see how it goes, putting it all together. But it's exciting, and I want our kids to be excited about it as well.
One of the things Brock Bradley talked about this week is, that obviously it wasn't perfect from execution last week. Some guys got some quality reps. It was nice to build some confidence, but one of the things that he says, you guys can't get comfortable. That's not a concern, but how do you prevent that from happening with the success you've had in the regular season? How do you keep complacency from setting in?
I'm not smart enough to come up with answers. I don't know. All I know to do is just what we kept doing, And somebody said, is next week going to be different? No. It's going to be the same as this week. It's going to be the same as the week out. We rinse and repeat on a daily basis. And I think when you do that, you keep the main thing, and just keep working and worry about yourself. We talk about it all the time. I mean, it's a faceless opponent every week. Our only opponent is ourselves. And obviously, I think we all know what Hoover game means. And, you can't get around that. You can't downplay it. But, you win this game, your season's not complete. You lose it, it's not over. So, you got to take it in stride. You got to just be smart with it, the approach. But our kids know what it means, but we don't have to talk about it. We go to work.
Talk a little bit about what the practice schedule is going to be like this week. Just same as usual. Lift in the morning, lifting in them.
Oh yeah, we're going to lift. We lifted today. We're going to lift 4 days a week. And this is a max week, so I expect some numbers to go up. We're going to lift 4 days a week, and our kids know it. They expect it. But it was funny at Sparkman. We were going into the locker room right before kickoff, and this kid, I don't know who it was. I think he was a student. He kind of called me over there. I don't know what he's about to say, so I can go over to the fence. And so another lady walked up with him, and he said, "What do you feed y'all's kids?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" He said, "They're all so big." I'm like, he said, "Even the little ones you can." I'm like, I don't know. We give them protein, but we work. These kids work. They don't. You don't have to make them work. I mean, it's because they see themselves get better and stronger and bigger and faster, and they see themselves develop. And once they get to that point where they see it, it's not as hard to get them to do it. So we're not going to change anything. We're going to practice in the afternoon. We're going to lift in the morning, but Wednesday we practice in the morning. We lift in the afternoon. So Thursday and Friday I want them to sleep in. We don't do anything in the mornings on Thursdays and Fridays. So